Hello readers, this is Sakshi and I heartily welcome you all to Books with Sakshi. I really hope you are doing great and reading some amazing books. In today's video, I'm going to do a book review of a poetry book and the title is Fuck, I Have So Many Questions, A Poetic Voyage Through Chaos, which is written by author Anurag Madan. I know the title was quite long and from the title, it already says I have so many questions. And so quite evidently the book is filled with poetries where the author is having certain questions and I could relate with it because even from day-to-day life, if we see, we have a lot of questions about anything. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be like major topics, but anything. We all are very curious. We human beings are very curious about certain things. We have questions about numerous things. We want logic behind few things. We just want answers. In short. So in this book also there were some poems I could very well relate with, and very soon I'm going to tell you about the content of this book and what all kind of poems are there and how I found them and everything. So make sure you watch this video until the very end. The book is divided into three parts. Part 1 is Elegant Emergence, Part 2 is Livid Life, and last part is Dazzling Demise. And I enjoyed reading all the parts, but specifically I liked the last part, which was Dazzling Demise, and I'll tell you why. Because I was recently reading about the end of our life, which is death, and this part actually includes something related to it only. And this book has a lot of illustrations in it, and I'm a big fan of illustrations when it comes to poetry books. I just love it. I love those cute little illustrations that are there with the poems, so I just love it. I somehow just enjoy the poetry book if it has illustrations, so that's my personal preference. And the author is very young, honestly, and I was so shocked to read something so deep, so insightful. And according to him, he has already mentioned it here that nothing really matters, which is, I guess, a very cool way to look at it, because if you start giving importance to everything, if you start thinking about everything, your life will become a headache, honestly. And this is just my interpretation of why nothing really matters, because everything which we have currently is just an illusion. Everything which you are seeing, which you are having around yourself, and everything which I am seeing and having around myself, it's nothing but illusion. It's not permanent, it's just temporary. And that's the reality, the sooner or later we accept this fact, it's good for us. And there was one musing which really caught my attention, and I'll even read it out to you. It was, why do we have the desire to preserve everything yet desire a constant change? And it's true, it's deep, and something I instantly related with it. Like, you want let's say for memories or anything which we love, we just want to capture it, we just want to preserve it for future, or I don't know for what, but we just instantly want to preserve it with us so that it remains with us. But at the same time, we are also looking for constant change, and both the things cannot exist at once. I know there are different ways also to look at this thing, but this, what the author has written, just it reached my heart directly. And there's one another musing which says, why do we make bad decisions to escape our previous bad decisions? And this usually happens when you're young and you're very immature and you do not know anything, so you're usually making bad decisions, and in order to escape those bad decisions, you make some more bad decisions. Not necessarily every time, because you can also seek guidance and take help from someone and make good decisions, but generally this is what usually happens when you're immature and you do not know a thing about anything in life. So yeah, first of all, hats off to the author, because whatever questions he has raised in this book through his poetry, they all are very, very common, yet we do not think about them at the same time. They are very common. These are emotions which normally every human being carries within them, but we really do not think about them. One of the questions the author has raised here is that if we get everything we want, will we be still happy? If you want something, it may be a car or it may be a big house, and you really have this huge desire to have it, will you be happy once you get it? And this is the question that's going to be subjective. Like, the answers are going to be subjective. Some will say yes, they'll be damn happy, and some will say maybe no, or no at all. So it's going to be subjective, how we look at it, how we look at the situation. And my response to it would be, these are just, material, and my response to such questions would be, these all are materialistic things. Not just this house or a car, but anything that's materialistic. These are just, temporary things in our life, and they are going to just give us that temporary satisfaction, temporary happiness, which is not going to last for a long time, honestly. So rather than, finding happiness in these things, we should be seeking happiness in those things that are always going to be with us. Just like that, the author has raised many questions depending upon different circumstances, and I do not want to talk about each and everything because there are a lot of things. So when you will read it, you will actually get the confusion, you will actually get the chaos that goes around in one's mind, and it even happens in our mind. It's just that we do not sit back and reflect upon it and think about it. So I really appreciate the author for actually thinking about these minute things and weaving a poetry around it, because I definitely enjoyed reading all of them. I even finished this book in just one sitting. So the poems are usually very short. They are 4-liners, 5-liners, 6-liners, or even 1-liner sometimes. And then there are poems that are up to 8 to 10 lines. So those are quite long poetries. But they all are good. They will all just show one thing, that how as human beings we are so confused about a lot of things. We do not know certain answers to everything. Like, if there is a question about a certain thing and you have heard a person answering that question for you, another person may answer it differently for you. So you will have multiple answers, and in which answer you have to believe, it's your call. So we do not really have certain answers to everything, and this is what I could make out after reading this book. And the book is very short. Just like me, I guess even you can read it in one go, and that is how you will retain the essence of this book. Because if you will read this in break, you can read it part wise, like part 1, then part 2 and part 3, or you can read everything in just one sitting, because in that way only you'll be able to understand the confusion, as I said, like what is happening, and you'll be able to interpret the poems better according to me. It was just in some poems that I feel, it could be a little better, it could be like a little mature, but that's just my perception, honestly. And what is mature and immature anyway? So this is another question. But honestly, as a reader, I felt some poems could be a little better, and they could leave more impact than they already did. So writing style is very simple. Even the poems are easy to understand. They are neither that easy, nor they are very that difficult. They are moderate. They are smooth in reading, and you'll be able to understand if you have read few poetry books before, or if you are someone who reads some musings or poems online, then only you will be able to enjoy it. So since I always love reading poetry books that are fresh, I always love reading poetry books that are short and refreshing and unique from others, and talk about something different, something we are not thinking consciously on a daily basis. I always love such books, and this one was one of them. And so for that same reason, I really recommend you to go ahead on Amazon and get this book for yourself if you also love reading poetry books. I really hope you like it as much as I did, because it will also make you question a lot of things. So it doesn't really answer those questions, honestly, what I could feel, but you know, it will make you think. It's very thought provoking, so it will make you think, and then it's your call to come up with your answers and your interpretation, your perception about things. So it's totally up to you. But one thing that is guaranteed is it's going to make you think. It's very thought provoking, and I really loved it for the same reason. I'll also mention the link of this book in the description box, so you can check it from there. And I really hope you get it from Amazon for yourself, and even do get it for your friends and family members who would be interested in reading poetry book. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, then do give it a thumbs up, and do share this video with others who are poetry lovers. I hope they also find this book worth reading their time. And that is it. I'll see you in the upcoming videos. Until next time, take care and keep reading some amazing books.